want you to bury me in a covered casket under a sycamore tree. Go down Missouri, you'll find me. I'll be down by that sycamore tree. Baby, I was far from home. Baby, I was on my own. Baby, I was born to quench your thirst. 'Cause all day long I sit and think, I stare at all you pretty things. How could I ever just get to her? Oh, no, no, no. How could I ever just get to her? Oh, 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 oh. How could I ever just get to her?
Folks, welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show. With a couple of cats been working their butts off for years, trying to get to a point in their life where they're actually considered a reputable musical presentation. Justus, Lacewell, Eric Ciccone.
Ciccone?
Ciccone.
You got it.
Rostosaurus.
Nani's going to be proud of you, Eric.
Welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show, gentlemen.
Thank you for
Hey,
having
thanks
us.
for having us, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, Eric, you were talking before. You kind of feel like you're on the cusp of. You've been working so hard to become something. You said something along. What is that? Can you flesh that out?
Yeah, so we had a writer sheet that early on we just kind of had it as a joke that we put with our stage plot, you know, so venues knew the equipment we had and everything, and just kind of as a joke for hospitality, we put that we wanted a bottle of Jameson, and for a couple years, you know, nobody looked at that, but then all of a sudden we started doing these gigs, and a bottle of Jameson would be backstage, and we're like, oh, wait a minute.
Purely because we didn't want to drink it, just to have
Absolutely.
it. Yeah.
But what that was so. But I mean, can you, either one of you can take this question? But I mean, how hard has it been to get to the point where you are now? I mean, how much perseverance? Talk about the perseverance.
Well, I can tell you, we know perseverance.
Oh, yeah.
Justice, people want you to sit up. People want you to come close. They want to see you. All right. But I mean, both of you talk about.
Justus, you want to talk about this little journey?
Because I mean, I was reading an article with you where just it's just hard freaking work, and I want you to talk to younger peeps about how the perseverance that it's taken to get to this point.
You just got to stick with it. You know, you got to stick with it. You got to really prioritize yourself, almost like in a business sense. It's like really the what it comes down to. You'll reach a point where we're just playing and we're all friends, but if we were going to take this to the next level, we have to think about this like a business, and is there one part of your business that's really not able to take that to the next level because of their schedule or like your family life or whatever? That's been the hardest part, is being like, bro, I love you, but we just can't move forward with you anymore because you're not giving the band what it needs, you know. And for me, it's been just such a journey. It's been like since I started writing music when I was like 22, 21 or so. I just started playing open mics in college, and people were like, man, you need a band. And then so I got a band going, and then I
you were just showing up at open mics and just were you playing covers or you were singing original tunes?
Just singing original. I just started writing music all of a sudden. And and the drummer that's in the band now was in our college band. And when I left college, I was like, I realized finally I had a purpose in life, that I wanted to play music in life. You know, it was like, I got this plant science degree, screw that, I'm gonna play music. And so like, I moved out here to start this band, and got a hold of Eric on Craigslist, and it's just been generation after generation after generation of members, like getting more and more solid members, getting people, and just understanding that we all needed to have the same schedule and priorities. And like, I don't know, what have we been through, like 7 drummers or something? Like 4 bass players.
In all seriousness, how much is your band predicated on having a rhythm section that is very? I hate the word tight. I'm just talking about fluid and really together. I mean, you've gone through a lot of rhythm changes, a lot of rhythm section changes.
Right, and I mean, our name is Rostosaurus, so we do play a lot of reggae, which is very rhythmic-centric, so it is essential that the drums and the bass create that pocket and that groove and are very in sync, not just performance-wise, but also there's a chemistry. that they can read and build off each other, and they're keeping that pocket, they're keeping that groove, so that we have the backing of that music, so Justus can sing over it, and I can play over it.
And I guess also, how conscious of you guys are you conscious of dynamics?
Oh, absolutely.
Because this is like when I walked in, you guys were playing a tune, and I just I don't want to paint with a broad brush because I only heard 5 minutes, but the dynamics didn't change. How dynamic is Rostosaurus?
That was more of a straight poppy little top 40 reggae song.
See, I love you. I love you pushing back, man. It's fantastic.
So that's the thing, but
it was a love tune. It was like a pop love tune.
Yeah,
radio friendly.
3 chords, 4 minutes, woman get off my back tune. But so the thing is like the dynamics, especially with the reggae, because we've never been one to call ourselves the tightest band, but we just try to rock out. I always tell people my goal, when I bring people into the fold, I'm like, okay, man. So my goal is after each song, I want to look over the bar and see some guy like Christopher Lloyd in Back to the Future with his hair blown back, screaming whoa, dude, that rocked.
There's a Max LXL2 tape with the guy with the whip.
Rock and roll.
Our thing is definitely writing. We're songwriters and writing songs first and foremost. But live, we like to improvise. We like to see where things go. Reading off the crowd.
You leave the head of the tune, and then Justus, talk about you're pretty loose actually, Kat. I mean, you're pretty have a lot of balls. I'm just saying, what is your concept of any note can be the one, the downbeat?
No, not at all. Not every note could be the one, because sometimes I'm up there and the music breaks down,
right?
And it comes down all low and it's just me and my guitar and I'm singing, but then all of a sudden out of one of my monitors from Eric or Steve, it's the keyboard player is there'll be this bad note in there, and I'm like a dog chasing a truck on some dirt road, the bad note comes out and I'm on the bad note and it drags me off. So I'm like, listen guys,
So you do believe that they're all wrong notes though? I mean, Miles,
it's not wrong notes. Yeah, I mean, but there's
because it's only a wrong work. That's a good point. I dig. So you don't like that? I mean, you will.
I'm gonna say, what he's talking about is mostly what he's singing over, and he likes to have that true, so he can sing his melodies and everything over that.
Yeah.
But then if we're improvising, if there's kind of an off note, if you can play off that, that's jazz, baby.
Yeah, that's
if
jazz.
You play off that,
it's all jazz,
and it's intentional. It becomes intentional.
It's all jazz. I mean, I
guess extra jazzy tonight.
For Kat, I love it. I dig. How Eric? What has been your evolution as it relates to learning improvisation, how you've learned to improvise and expand sonically?
Yeah, so I mean, straight up, I got an electric guitar when I was 11. My dad gave me a guitar, and then one day he asked me if I could play this song, and it was Over the Hills and Far Away by Led Zeppelin. That was the first time I ever heard Zeppelin. Instantly became obsessed. I learned every Zeppelin song that was out there, and one day I came across a live version of No Quarter, and Jimmy Page played the composed solo, but then he started improvising over it, and that was the first time that I was like, whoa, that's, you can play guitar in this standard way, but live you can take it in this totally different direction. It sounds incredible, and pretty much right around then my friend introduced me to the Grateful Dead, and I was just like,
Mazel tov. We were cranking 84 Dead on the way down here.
Baby.
I'm wearing it right there.
Little Red Rooster, Cumberland Blues, and then Let It Grow. And I mean that was the thing is that so you guys are you, would you say that you have a poet, where Robert Hunter was Garcia's
right there?
But both you cats play. I mean, the thing is, Hunter played, but he didn't play with the band.
Right, totally.
So can you talk about how the germ of a song comes together for you?
I just really, but that's been a journey myself.
Well, let's talk about it. Let's unpack the journey.
So, to unpack the journey is I used to, when it first just started, it was pure, it was lucid. I just started playing music, I just started writing music. But Eric, I'd been to a bunch of festivals and we'd seen what jam music or improv music and just the magic of a lead guitar.
Can you talk about some of your influences? Some of the cats you got off on?
Well, it's kind of changed, For a while there, I was big into reggae hard, the old school reggae, the Steel Pulse, all those guys. And so I was big into that, and some poppier Jamaican top 40, Richie Spice and Jock Cure and stuff. And then I saw George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic play from midnight to 5 a.m. at this place called Camp Zoe. And then my whole friend group just went nuts.
Well,
for
you
funk.
lost your mind.
So we went funk, right? And then so after the funk, you know, the blues came in really hard, and then finally like the classic rock. So like currently, I've just been on a Clapton kick like crazy. I just been going Clapton crazy, but it just really is kind of all around. And now I'm just kind of like, if it is good music, like I want to listen to it. I don't really like bluegrass that much. I don't really like pop country, mostly because I grew up in a really small area of the world. I feel like I got burned out on bluegrass early, but like I appreciate it. I just don't listen to it. But like pretty much I listen to classic rock and soul. But I've realized that like the thing about myself that I really use to its maximum ability is that if I listen to a certain type of music for a second, I'll start exporting that type of music. So if I want to write really catchy hooks or really catchy songs, I listen to a bunch of Motown. And so then I can just slay the hooks.
And those James Jamerson bass
right,
lines with,
right.
you know, Pistol Allen. But I mean, how have you also like learned to sonically expand your voice? What I mean by that is there were, you know, the sound systems today are so amped up. They're so.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need a lot. I mean, you need. I guess what I'm saying in the pop world today, you don't have to be talented at all.
Yeah.
If you're beautiful and you have a Twitter following and you don't mind selling out, they'd say to the engineer, "How did I sound?" The guy's like, "Terrible. We can fix it."
Hey,
Your voice is well. Both you cats sing?
No.
Okay, so I mean, but how have you learned to just sonically expand your voice in an acoustic or natural setting?
I'm just gonna jump in.
Yeah, go
quick,
ahead.
Just one quick story. Every time we record, and the engineer suggests just a slight auto tune, just to like
Dig,
put
no
that,
way.
That slight, just like fuck no, I don't care. I'll sing another.
I know
take
there was
to
a
make
reason
it
I
I'm
can't-
not
perfect.
hitting my notes. I'm not
not
doing my
even
job.
like
Get that out of here.
a hundredth of a percent of increasing that auto tune.
Nope.
Justice is all
Where does that?
about-
What is that attitude about? Explain that attitude.
It's just like if you're a lead singer in a band, you need to be a singer. You know, like you are here to sing. That's your job. And if I can't hit my notes, then you guys need to get a new singer. If I'm up here writing this song and I can't produce it in the studio because it's so overproduced, a la like kind of like the problem that people always said why the Beatles stopped playing is because they got so overproduced in the studio they couldn't play live. Because it was like so much going on in all the tracks. It's like if I'm not up there doing my job and hitting my notes, then I'm not going to be acceptable as a musician to myself. And that's really the standard I hold myself to when I write music. Like there's all kinds of songs these guys had never heard, but like I won't bring a song out to practice. I won't like sit down on my couch and write a song and bring it to practice if I don't feel like it's enough to hold up to. Almost like we were talking about where like the 60s and 70s was the last time music was actually good. And it was the last time everybody actually competed to play music with their peers.
Well, and that's you're very right.
Push themselves,
and because it was still being made by human beings. The drum machine.
Yeah.
I mean, the automation of. Explain. Either one of you can take a crack at this, and then feel free to. We can wrap it with a tune if you want. But do you feel like, or maybe you already have? I mean. We are so label driven today that like on a festival you're always getting pegged as a Rastafarian inflected band, but you're always getting on these reggae tours. I bet the question is why wouldn't you be able to get on you said the jam band scene, like getting on one of those? I mean, is that an aspiration for you guys?
It's wonderful.
And why is it not acceptable for someone just because you? I don't. Why is that? Why is that good for music?
We are somehow walking along this golden bridge right now in Denver, where like we can jump on both the national jam shows and the national reggae shows. We get like Black Uhuru, Particle come through, like all those guys, Twiddle, any of those groups. We'll play on the Twiddle show at the Bluebird.
You're gonna play on the Twiddle show?
We played the Twiddle.
That is great, man. I'm not that hip to everything that's going on in the modern time, but I mean that is
those
sick.
are friends of ours.
That's
we'll
great.
turn it around and like Steel Pulse comes to town. We can jump on that show because we have enough material. We can sculpt our set to the jam or to the reggae.
Yep.
And then so that really allows us to have this like double-edged sword in the Denver market where we can take twice the shows at the national level when they come through town. And it really allows us to really expand our fan base, whereas other bands, like they'll either pigeonhole into the reggae act or they're pigeonholed into the jam band act. But we definitely see ourselves as a reggae jam band.
A reggae jam band. Well, I mean, acoustically, finish out with a tune. Guys, it was great to hang with you. Look forward to
thanks
seeing
for
you
having
play. I
us.
love
It's been
always,
Thank
man.
you so much, Jake. Yeah, it's been great, man. I've been following you so long on Facebook.
I know, dude. It's the
Yeah.
scent. It's truly, it's just the scent of authenticity. It's not like I tell everybody, I get off more on the musician themselves than the music. I mean, I love the music, but it's the authenticity of the cat that matters. So
yeah, man.
play something, play a tune before we rock out of here.
All right.
What are we gonna lead off with, Justus?
Yo, what are we gonna do, man?
Let's see, Wake Up Dead.
Okay. One of these mornings I'm gonna wake up dead, and that's all she wrote, and that's all she wrote. 'Cause one of these evenings I might bump my head, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, that's all she wrote. As I was checking fences in the fog, I saw the devil down around my heart. And he said, boy, I ain't looking for you if you ain't looking for me. Just let me be. 'Cause one of these mornings I might wake up dead, and that's all she wrote, and that's all she wrote. 'Cause one of these evenings I might bump my head, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, that's all she wrote. I'm staring out across your scarlet towers, and in your fields I've watched my grasses grow. In one of these lonesome forgotten hours, I shall stand alone. There's Ciccone, everybody. One of these mornings I might wake up dead, and that's all she wrote, and that's all she wrote. One of these evenings I might bump my head, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, that's all she wrote.
Happy 4th of July, everybody. We'll see you in all a little bit.
Thank you, Jake.
Peace.